All right, it's that time again. I gotta hit that record button because we are having yet another flash crash in Bitcoin at the moment. I don't know if you really want to call it a flash crash if it's been happening over the past, hour and a half or so, but I've been watching Bitcoin here. This is perfect evidence as to why you stick to your guns, because if you watched last night, you know that I said that my limit order did not get filled because Bitcoin ended up bouncing just before we actually got to my order. So you can see this huge candle wick downwards, and then it came back up, and we had this dead cat bounce all the way up to 15,000, and it looked like maybe Bitcoin was going to pull out of this just fine. Yet we came all the way back down and then even lower, and now my limit order executed. My first limit order. I did not buy my entire position yet. I'm prepared for this to go down even lower, but I have my first buy order executed because I stuck to my guns and I didn't end up chasing price up like this and buying at $15,000. As a result of that, number one, I get the additional feeling that I did something right, and number two, I don't have to deal with the feelings associated with if I bought up here, knew that I should have bought down here, and ended up costing myself thousands of dollars. So it's very important when it comes to trading that you do stick to your gut, because if you don't, you are risking some serious amount of money, and you're also going to get very emotional and make poor decisions. But anyway, let's talk about what you should do in this current market, because we are seeing panic selling across the board at the moment. It can be very difficult to know exactly what it is you should do, so that's what we're going to clarify in this particular video. I still think that Bitcoin is going to pop back from this. That probably is not the word I should use. I think it's going to bounce back from this. The reason I think it's going to bounce back from this is because I know a lot of people have been waiting for a dip once Bitcoin started racing up towards that $20,000 level. A lot of people have been waiting for this. Now, we might see momentum carry this down even lower. It may even break below 10,000. There's going to be a lot of support at that $10,000 level. If we do see Bitcoin break down below it, which I don't see it as being that low of a probability, it's not really going to surprise me if we do break below 10,000. In the event that we do, I'm prepared to buy even more Bitcoin. And I think a lot of people are going to be prepared to buy Bitcoin at below 10,000 because they're going to FOMO and think that there's no chance to ever buy it below that price ever again, just based off of the run-up that we've seen in Bitcoin in the past few months. As a result of that, I do not see this as the bubble popping. I think it's going to take a lot more for the bubble to actually pop, although obviously spotting the top and when a bubble does pop is very difficult to do. But this is the first real correction we've seen in Bitcoin in quite some time. So it's going to be very interesting to keep an eye on this to see whether or not we hit what I would consider somewhat of a bear market. Although with how much Bitcoin went up, now for those of you that haven't watched my previous videos, I consider 60% decline from a recent top to be a bear market, and we're pretty much getting there. I believe at roughly 7,500 we'd be at 60%, so it'd be interesting to see if we reach that level or not. I don't think that we will. It's a fairly low probability that we do. As a result of that, the majority of my buy-ins will be filled if Bitcoin's price goes down to roughly 8,000. If it goes below 8,000, that's cause for concern, because I wouldn't be surprised if we see price that could be the bubble popping. It should be interesting to see if that happens or not, because generally when Bitcoin corrects like this, we see a bunch of money pump back into it and bring the price back up. If you're panicking at the moment, I understand. Take a deep breath. Realize that this happens all the time with Bitcoin. It may not have happened recently. We haven't had a substantial decline like this in quite some time, but it is definitely an opportunity rather than a reason to panic. And this is also why, if you feel that the market is overvalued at a certain point, that you really should consider leaving some of your portfolio in cash, because I can't tell you how many people have left me comments saying, I would love to buy the dip here, but I just don't have any cash. And you really want to be careful about that, because so many people have been telling me they know Bitcoin is a bubble, or they know that it's overinflated and that it should adjust at some point here. And if you're so confident of that, then put your money where your mouth is and take some money out of the market, plain and simple. You do that, then you put yourself in a situation where you can take advantage of dips like these. I also want to note at this point in time, if we look at the cross-currency pairs, you can see that Bitcoin Cash is down even more than Bitcoin. As a result of that, we know that Bitcoin Cash is down against Bitcoin. We know that Ether is down against Bitcoin. And we also know that Litecoin is down against Bitcoin. No surprise there, because Bitcoin tends to hold strong when, at least relative to altcoins, when it begins to tank. Because altcoins, especially because altcoins just went through a bull stretch. After they go through a bull stretch, and especially when Bitcoin starts to tank like this, altcoins tend to follow. As a result of that, we've seen the market dominance figure for Bitcoin go up just overnight from 43% all the way almost up at 47%, which is very substantial. That's billions of dollars. You can also see, since the video I made yesterday, that we've shed almost $150 to $200 billion worth of market cap. So this has been a fairly healthy correction at the moment. Again, I wouldn't classify it as a bear market yet. It's just too soon yet to classify it as that. Part of what I'm hoping to see for Bitcoin is, I would really, if for this to be a healthy correction, it would be nice if this didn't bounce back immediately. And the reason I say this is because when it bounces back immediately, a lot of people, it just doesn't feel like there's going to be another pump, because a lot of people are going to think that it's a dead cat bounce, just like we saw last night. As a result of that, I would really like to see Bitcoin trade in this range again for, a couple of days or so. And then if we see another pump, I'll probably be bullish on Bitcoin. But it'll be interesting to see. It looks like we're coming down right now at the moment. We might see Bitcoin come down to, I wouldn't be surprised if we break into that $10,000 area. And a lot of people mentioned I couldn't manipulate the markets with a few $1,000,000. Trust me when I say, when the markets move like this, there's going to be moments when the order book is exceptionally thin. Like, look at this. You could clear all the way down to 124 very quickly. What do you know? That's exactly what happens. When you see the order book exceptionally thin like this, if you have a substantial amount of capital, it's just not difficult to push the prices down. On the flip side, it's also not difficult to push the prices up. That's why if we go to the 1 minute candles here, there are some 1 minute candles that are, insane movements. What this particular 1 minute candle is 11,900 all the way down to 11,500. So, and I've seen much more substantial candle movement than that. So this is a great opportunity at this point. I've started to buy Bitcoin at this price. I will continue to buy it on its way down. If it continues to go down, in the event that it bounces back, I won't buy any more. I'm perfectly fine with that. And that's probably the most important skill set to have, is to be able to be fine with missing out on the optimal return, because you're never going to be able to predict the bottom of this. You just want to be sure that you take advantage of it in a way that you're comfortable with. In terms of what you should do with altcoins, I would stay away from them at the moment. I think that this is not a good opportunity to get into altcoins. I know some people will find this to be a time to be bullish on altcoins. I don't think their time is yet. I think that time will come soon, but I don't think that that time is yet. I think until we see this Bitcoin dominance figure come closer to 50% or so, or we start seeing some of these altcoins come back to where they were, during the decline that they saw against Bitcoin from October to December, until we see a substantial decline in altcoins, I'm probably not going to put more money into them, and I'm probably going to concentrate the majority of my money into Bitcoin in terms of new purchases. But you guys know, it doesn't, if we see a situation where the market reverses, then I have absolutely no issue switching back over into altcoins, because you guys know that I generally prefer to invest in what is unfavored in the market, because I think that's a good way to, number one, limit your risk, and number two, maximize your return when situations revert back to the mean. What's interesting to note at the moment is that I could not have switched into Bitcoin at a more opportune time, because you can see here, I mentioned in my previous video that I was going to switch into Bitcoin for my altcoins, but not deploy new cash, and that ended up saving my ass quite a bit in this particular downturn that we're seeing at the moment. And it continues to do so because I think this dominance figure should go up, given that Bitcoin is nowhere near close to 12,600 at the moment. So let's see, we see Bitcoin fall again, and it's actually staying relatively flat, which means altcoins are falling in line with Bitcoin at the moment. So anyway, it should be interesting to watch this over the coming few days or so. If you want to interact with me regarding this video and my previous videos, I tend to stop responding once I upload new videos, but if you do want to interact with me on this particular video, make sure you check out my Steemit. I always post my videos there as well, and I respond to the majority of comments just because it's easier for me to keep track of, and there's a monetary incentive for you to post on there as well. There's a monetary incentive for both of us to post, actually. You can see here that I get rewarded with money, and if you have a good contribution that other people like, then you get rewarded with money as well. So come check out Steemit if you're interested. I will respond to the majority of your comments. Not all of them, but the ones that are relevant to the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As usual, leave a like, comment, and subscription, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for watching.